Exactly. The thought of such a task is just too monumental, and you wouldn't even begin because it's just too much. If it was easy, you would say block, 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 no problem.
Oh Jesus!
So
Chemo, you're making a grave tactical error here today. I want to be a flat earther, and you're not helping.
Wanting to be a label, you want the truth, which is a spiritual thing, which is without label. Remember, labels are a material thing. You'd have a badge there,
what?
yes.
The truth is spiritual?
About your mind. Yeah, it's about your mind. Getting your mind right for when you die, after death.
Daniels.
And
so
after
my
death,
computer is a laptop is a spiritual statement.
think about it. When someone you love dies, how do you feel? You want that person back. You miss them. You wish they were here.
Who died?
What does that have to do with the truth?
Because we're wasting time talking about models, which we cannot prove.
Models?
Yeah, I was going to get back to the model.
What model do you have that we're talking about specifically?
You're so vague, Emo. You're so vague.
You go from one extreme to the other.
You're so vague. I bet you think the sun is lava.
How would you prove a model, Emo? And don't just say you can't. Don't just say you can't. Just hypothetical speaking, what would it take to prove a model?
Well, you'd have to prove it physically first. Once you've proven it physically, measurement.
What do you mean prove it physically?
Okay, if he works at Abercrombie and Fitch, there's a model. Prove it.
If you can measure everything that you're trying to model, for example, the planets, the stars, and the size of things, the distance of things, then of course you can model that. But if you're just guessing, well, then the model is just a fantasy, right, Phil?
No.
Right, Phil?
It's not what you do at all.
Well, how do you measure?
I would measure the distance to the sun, how fast it's going, the speed. I would measure the size of the Earth. I would measure the distance to the moon and things like that. Then I would model this. Why would I guess?
When was the last time you measured anything?
Human guess and then make the model. Well, that's the problem that we have.
When was the last time you measured
the
anything?
Esocentric people.
How do you know how fast you're going?
How fast I'm going?
I just want to know when the last time Chemo actually measured anything.
You mean the Earth or me?
Oh no, yeah, yeah, okay. Sorry.
I just want to know when the last time Chemo actually measured something.
Oh, let me refresh was because I don't know if I'm talking over somebody.
Hey, is he taking the piss?
Okay. So is that...
Did he call you Rich?
I don't know. I mean, I chimed in, and I probably should.
We're all going to be getting called Wazzy. All of us.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, that's pretty standard.
There's Terry there, yes, and there's Was, and
hello.
Hello. Yes, of course.
Hello.
So, Chemo, if I'm in a car going 100 kilometers an hour on the freeway, and there's a wind blowing into me at 200 kilometers an hour, how fast am I going?
100 kilometers.
No.
Giggledy 2 miles an hour.
Well, I mean,
it kind of comes back to like, has Chemo actually measured anything in his life?
Yeah, that's what I was getting to.
It's kind of a trick question, Moz.
No, not really.
What's so tricky about it?
A little bit.
Well, it depends on his answer. It's a generic question. What have you measured something?
I measured something. Yeah, I went
velocity.
down to
Velocity has to be measured relative to a point. Something.
Yeah, the speedometer.
I've done a bit of measuring. Yeah,
the ground.
Yeah, exactly.
I went down to
how many miles you've moved across the ground in distance is really what it should be.
No, Grim, that's wrong.
I went down to 70s. I did a bit of measuring.
You're talking about a vehicle that's on the ground.
was able to prove the Earth is not a globe.
Right.
Yeah,
if it's going 100 kilometers per hour and the wind is blowing 200 kilometers per hour, it's still only going 100 kilometers per hour.
That's what I said.
Yeah, but you said miles. That's why I said you were wrong.
Oh. Oh, God. Let's slap the Americans around, damn it.
Yep.
We don't know the
technically, a
difference.
speedometer calculates speed, not velocity.
America, everything's bigger, okay, over here. So we're gonna have to deal with the distances.
Not really.
We can't do
Well,
100
the states are bigger.
Everything.
Everything's bigger.
Your states are bigger than ours.
Our
Is that what
dicks are
you're
bigger? Everything.
trying to say?
No, the states are not bigger.
Well, I mean, to be honest, like, it does my head in, the whole 69 miles per degree or 111 kilometers per degree. Like, what?
Wait, just what?
Yeah, why do people cut out?
What?
You can take that and...
You were like, why don't you just...
Oh, my finger might have slipped off my press talk. Sorry, Kima.
Yeah, you cut out again.
Yeah, go on, say it again. Why don't you just what?
Okay, so this is just me, So everyone says that there's 69 miles to a degree, right? And people are kilometers to a degree. Which is fine, be conversions, and just be 6 nautical miles to a degree.
Primer. Is that was?
Sure.
When we're talking for measurements, Rich, we're looking for drop, as I was saying yesterday. The measurement. Yeah. So unless we can measure this drop of the Earth, obviously it's completely flat. This is what we mean when we say measure.
Well, no.
Flat.
It comes back to how many. What measurements have you taken, Kimo?
Oh, right.
And
so
what's your understanding between the? Oh well. I might as well throw it out there. What's your understanding between the relationship between nautical miles and degrees of latitude or longitude, for example?
Well, I kind of went down to St. Bees, and there was a lighthouse.
You kind of can't answer the question. Okay, that's fine.
What measurements were done, what I have done, and there's a lighthouse, which we're told is not supposed to be seen a certain elevation. We went down there. We saw this.
I'm just curious. Who told you this?
Yeah, I was going to say what said that it shouldn't be.
According to the heliocentric model.
Be more specific.
What did you do to make the assumption that it shouldn't be seen?
Okay.
Remember,
and calculator.
You sent bees and was just on.
No. What did you do to come to the conclusion that it should not be seen?
Because according to the curved calculator, it should
more
be
specific.
Every single flat earther seems to fuck up.
No, we understand it.
Or they use the 8 inches per mile squared, or even 8 squared per mile inches. I don't know.
There's a simple way to prove that you actually know what you're talking about, Kimo, is to actually go into detail and describe it. Exactly how you did the calculation and what numbers you used to come to that conclusion.
Yeah, without using
this will be great.
Without using the curve calculator.
So just saying, he can use the curve calculator. I don't really care. Just tell me what number told him that he should not be able to see it.
Come on, that's all on Nathan's show. It's all there for everyone to see.
Yeah, I know, Kimo, but if you don't want to look like an idiot, you should probably just go through it.
But everybody knows, Phil, that I went there, right? And everybody knows the measurements were made. And everyone knows that lighthouse.
I don't know how they work. I don't know how the measurements work, Kimo. Can you please explain them to me?
Oh, Tony, we've told you 1,000 times already.
I'm dumb.
How many shows did
when they
Nathan...
put the numbers together, they came to
conclusion.
How many shows did Nathan do on this? How many shows?
Well, he didn't get it right
300,
once.
400 shows, 500, 600, 700 shows. You see?
He didn't explain once how we can't see it though.
Yeah, there was one time where he used the drop value as the amount that should be hidden, and then because he was saying that the hidden value is bullshit, he didn't really give a reason. Yeah. He's just like, oh, the drop value is actually the actual hidden value because I don't understand how this diagram
all
works.
we see from ball earthers.
And then he would use the geometric hidden value, which is clearly dishonest because he's not including the effects of the atmosphere, which is very important. And then when you find to go and use the actual curve calculator with refraction, it ends up being just fine and perfectly consistent.
Isn't that weird?
Isn't it? Isn't it?
It's almost like they do know where it goes wrong, but they don't want to say it.
Yeah. But again, that's part of the belief system, isn't it? Because you say light can do what it can do. And we say, well, no, we can see the object. That's not because it's bending around the corner or around the curvature. So again, you have to accept
Walter Bisla's model bends light to hell. So
exactly. So you have to accept. Yeah, but the problem with yours, I have to accept gravity and water sticking to a ball.
No, you don't. You don't have to accept gravity at all. What the fuck are you talking about?
A ball. How on earth does the water stick to the ball?
We observe the atmosphere.
Accept the fact that things fucking fall down.
Sorry, that's not one chemo. How do we explain the water sticking to a ball?
Things can fall down.
Don't explain it, Chemo. It does. It's that simple.
Is water heavier than air, Chemo?
Well, you know, we can see that.
So now what?
It's either yes or no answer.
But we're talking about conforming to the exterior curved. Prove that happened.
Why wouldn't it? It falls towards the Earth, Chemo. It's heavier than air.
Curved. How will it curve around the exterior of something?
It will.
It falls
you can tell I can't fathom the understanding. Like it can't.
No, you're right. I can't unless you can demonstrate.
I know. It's funny.
Unless you can demonstrate it on a small scale, it can't happen in reality.
It's natural law, Chemo.
So, Chemo, is a bucket of what's the saying? Is a kilo of bricks heavier than a kilo of feathers?
Yeah, right.
We're talking about
reality doesn't care
I want Chemo to actually answer that question.
We're talking about physics.
Chemo to actually answer.
Physics of water.
It seems like Chemo. Everyone wants to answer Terry's question.
Yeah.
You're breaking a goddamn heart, Chemo.
This is an age-old question. We've been through it 1,000 times. Now.
No. Again, Chemo, you have to answer Terry's question.
Yeah,
Terry,
Chemo.
ask the question again if you need to.
I think he did.
What relevance does this question have?
It's to do with weight. It's to do with mass. It's to do with.
What's the cause of gravity?
It's to do with your understanding, Chemo. Your understanding.
What is the cause of gravity?
You haven't even heard the question yet.
So, but you got to answer the question.
You want me to
I don't know the cause of gravity.
You want me to ask the question again, guys?
Yeah, go ahead.
What is heavy? Well, I could do it in a ton.
Why would you think the same
hard ton of bricks or a soft ton of feathers?
You think the same
A ton of feathers or a ton of bricks, which is
hard ton of bricks or
why
a
do you think
soft.
the same weight? Think that.
Oh well, good. You know the answer. Fine.
Mass shouldn't be the same as weight, right?
But why would he think that
I don't think he does.
would be different?
He thinks you do.
Chemo, do you think kilograms are weight?
Yeah, but I'm saying, why would he think the same
No.
of something?
No. Wait.
But the point is, he's saying, why would he think the same of something is different?
Yeah, but why?
Right,
That's a fallacy. He's doing a fallacy.
You say that mass is the same as.
Question. You're not answering the question. There's no justice here. Water conforming to the exterior.
I showed
Did
you some
anybody else
evidence
hear
of that, Chemo.
I heard an exclamation mark at the end of that statement.
Yeah.
I have another question. So, do you have a question?
Well,
Sure, I have a question. Is a basketball the same as the Earth?
Oh, it would be the same shape. Or is it a paroid or oblate spheroid? I don't
Fuck
know.
yeah, that's Debbie.
It's a paroid.
Oh, but
Believe it or not,
but the
believe it or
basketball is
not,
made
most
out of rubber.
basketballs are oblate spheroids. They are a little fucking tiny bit off. It's hard to make a perfect sphere.
Either way, if you pour
I mean, they're
water
not
on
supposed
anything,
to be
made out of
it's
rock.
just gonna
Just because
glide
it's
right
hard to
off.
make a perfect sphere.
Is it a sports
If you
standard?
submerge,
I've never seen. You know what? I've never seen a basketball erupt with a volcano. That's another difference, I guess.
Yeah.
Subtle difference.
I've never seen a basketball, excuse me, outside of Earth's gravitational potential either.
Can we make a
Yeah,
mini?
interesting.
And I have never ever
'cause
seen
that
a
would
core or
literally have to be
tectonic plates.
to have that experiment to see if water would stick to a basketball. You would literally have to take it outside of Earth's gravitational potential, since obviously the mass and gravity of Earth would be much stronger than the mass and gravity of a basketball.
Oh, but that's just insane. You're just bringing too much logic
Well,
into
since
this.
we're bound to the natural laws, where do we see that in nature, though?
No, we have to
You have to
determine
identify
the natural
something in
laws.
nature.
Is there
We have
such a thing as a unique object in nature, which
Right.
is?
Phil, I have a question for you. I have a question. So
But you're interrupting though. Okay, so
talking about Tony's wife
Yeah,
and why they broke up.
14 years, we're still together.
Yeah, speaking of inches, how many cocks did you measure at St. B's, Chemo?
35.
Talk about your relationship, not other people's.
Why do you want to talk about my penis?
You talk about your relationship.
We're trying to find out about Debbie's longest relationship. That was not my question.
That won't prove the shape of the Earth, will it?
Yeah, but we'll get closer to the answer.
Well, that's not the point, is it?
Your relationship.
I just want to hear some truth come out of her at least. There's no truth coming out of you, though. So that's.
She has evidence for the flat Earth. Use a board. You have nothing better.
No, she doesn't.
So now it's better to talk about Debbie's life.
Yeah.
For the Earth.
How? When did she prove the shape of the Earth?
She does it every day, all day.
Really? She doesn't. She quite doesn't even understand that water in free fall is part of.
So rather than explain that, you would ask her about her relationships. Let's talk about your relationships.
Look at Hammerhead go.
That's Globe 1.
That's a beautiful. Well, Chemo, if you straighten up and behave, I was considering collaborating with Debbie on the flat Earth and coming up with answers. She's spiritual enough for both
finding
of
out
us.
who she's dating, how long she's, anything about that is not going to help the cause.
I didn't ask a single question about who she's dating. Are you mad? I was going to say manic.
It's all personal. It's
no, nothing to do with it.
Exactly, it's nothing to do with it.
This is his tactic to derail the argument.
I'm trying to
So
collaborate.
ignore it.
Now you muted Grim. Why'd you mute?
Yeah.
Honestly, didn't know anyone was talking about relationships at all. I didn't hear anything
The
like
last
that.
person I thought that would speak up for me to be curbed, and I have to say I appreciate that. Thank you.
Sure.
He's muting.
If you want to talk about relationships and things like that, I'm sure
we
there
talk about all kinds of things here.
Just one curve to say, can we have a room for that kind of
All right,
discussion?
Chemo, what's your longest relationship?
It's not about
Shut
me.
the heck up.
With your son.
This is about science here, not about relationships and, this is where it gets very boring and I have to just dodge out of here. I can't take it.
No, too much for you to handle. Okay.
No, you've run off.
Sounds like a guilty trip.
You've
to
run
me.
off. You've run off the majority of the flat earthers because you make the things personal.
It's
People
too
come
close to
from here.
home, isn't it?
Because they got nothing, that's why.
Well, yeah, calling us liars and stuff and saying that we're.
I suppose a new flat earther were to join right now and they hear, "Oh, what's your longest relationship?"
Who cares? Who cares? Are you over there on the other flat Earth server talking about why are you guys talking about this stuff when they're talking about all kinds of other stuff? No, you're not.
Yeah.
So don't be over here policing other motherfuckers then.
Well, this is one of the reasons why this
What do we want to talk about? If it's obvious that if it's obvious she's not going to talk about the other stuff, is she going to sit there and act like for over and over again? Notice how she's talking now, but I'm sitting here over and over again going, you remember when I showed you these, you see them now, and she's not answering me, and I'm asking over and over and over again, and she's not answering me? Fuck that,
I have seen those demonstrations many times.
Oh, I told you you did, right?
You have a bubble that's morphing. It's unstable. It is unstable.
No, it's not. It's not unstable. They're poking at
floating
it. As soon as they stop poking at it, it stabilizes.
It's morphing.
Clearly, you didn't watch the whole video. As soon as they stop poking at it, it stabilizes. As soon as they stop poking at it,
What's it morphing into, Debbie? What's it morphing into?
It's not a perfect sphere. It's not an oblate sphere.
Neither is the Earth.
Neither is Earth.
And yes, it is. You're not looking. You choose
not to look. It's morphing on the corners if it has corners. It's a morph thing going on there.
ball. It
That's
doesn't
not the
have
Earth.
corners.
The Earth doesn't. Show me where it morphs. Where the Earth morphs.
I don't know what morph
What are you
means.
talking about? It's not morphing. If the moon crashed into it, which I already clearly told you,
I know.
that when they're poking their fingers in it,
though.
that's
You're
equivalent.
gonna have to do more than that.
Please stop over talking.
The Earth consists of more than
Chemo,
just
do you
water.
mind since you got mod happy? Do you
We don't
mind
live in
if
an
she's over talking?
atmosphere.
Do you
Who's
mind?
poking
asking
her?
her to
Okay,
stop?
I'm wrong, right? I'm wrong. Okay, I'm wrong for pointing these things out.
Can I ask
Well,
you to
I
be fair
disagree.
with the mods, Chemo?
I
Is there any way
find
you can
things
be
what
fair
I
with the mods,
disagree
Chemo?
with.
Debbie.
Dude, I'm asking you,
Yeesh.
Chemo.
Calm down, everyone.
How
Just
can I
I'm trying
talk?
to calm
You're
down.
gonna continue to talk over me. How can I do it?
Okay,
Debbie, who's poking the Earth?
let's
I
go again.
apologize, but I'll slow my roll down. Okay.
Thanks,
So everything's
Debbie.
fine. Everything's
So,
fine, Debbie. Let's
nobody's-
just begin again.
No, everything's not fine, Chemo. She's interrupting the shit out of me.
Let's just begin again. Everything's fine.
Right. So, when you keep saying it's morphing, that's because they're poking their fingers into it. Their finger, a finger is not the size of the.
When they're on the
You're
when they're on the
interrupting me.
ISS, I
Please
have
don't do
seen
it.
that where they have
Please
the
don't do it.
bubbles.
God damn.
The thing morphs.
Because they're
Because they're
poking their
fiddling
fucking
with it.
fingers into it. When they
Where's the
stop
dirt?
doing that,
That's
Oh my
not
God, you're gonna interrupt
reality,
me.
dude. They're in an atmosphere that
mind?
we don't. We're not in free fall. Where's the
how
proof?
about this? How
for
about
that?
mute her for 30 seconds and then mute me for 30?
Just
How about that?
feel the back and forth. Listen to the question.
No, we can't. Obviously, we can't do it on our own. Okay, we need moderation. Obviously, so
There's
please
one person here who
moderate us.
can't back and forth, and it's not the globe earthers.
But she is back and forth, and you're saying something, Mr. Grimm, and she responds, and you should respond to that, and then you're trying to monologue.
No, I'm
Responses
saying
happen
something, and then
after
while I'm still saying something, she starts yapping.
There are times where I see water reaching equilibrium, equally distributed inside the container becomes one. I've seen no morphing out there on the water. It's just a glass, almost like appearance. That does not look like the thing that you demonstrated in that, whatever that thing he's in, ISS, or what do you want to call it?
So, Debbie, start the first video where it says rotating sphere of water in microgravity. It is a ball. A spinning ball of water. Not morphing, not doing anything else. Just look at it. And that's exactly right.
We are not free falling. How do you figure this?
We are.
Yeah,
the Earth is.
The Earth is. We're on the
Can
Earth.
Can you demonstrate that? Can you show that?
Yes, in the models that we show, we can. Remember,
okay,
you're talking
so in
about very
models you
big
can
things.
show it, but not in reality. Okay, all right, Grim.
Well, yeah, in reality,
you can
like
show
when
in
you
reality,
see
but
when
you
you see the
wouldn't believe
sun
it.
coming
It's just
up,
a model.
that's proving it. That's showing you right there. When you see the
just a
sun coming,
model.
never mind. Fuck it.
I mean, you've seen the photos in reality of that. You just don't believe them. And you wouldn't believe them if we posted them again.
The photos of that.
Of the Earth sitting in free fall.
The Earth sits in free fall. The Earth sits.
Floating, falling, whatever you want to call it.
Floating, falling, zigzagging, boomeranging.
Are you mocking him, Debbie, or what? What's going on?
Okay.
You're just trying not to
Well,
listen.
that's a lot to comprehend here and imagine. I mean, only just a twisted imagination can come up with that.
I'm sorry, that's
that
a
is
lot for
sick
you.
and twisted
See,
type
that's
reality.
I think when
It
you say
don't
things like that, that's more harmful.
It
and,
does not
more
match
what you would call
mine.
demonic. What you would call demonic. Seriously.
Absolutely. It's a sick, twisted idea.
No, when you call somebody sick and twisted because you don't understand something, that's something that you would call demonic. You would. See, you're being
That's
mean
not
and
true.
hateful. Oh yeah, absolutely. You're being
I know, but you want to
hateful.
show me a model that
So you can't use those
proves
kind of
beyond a
arguments.
shadow of a doubt that is what's going on, but yet I don't observe it. I don't
Like
see
Yeah,
it.
but you
I
do
don't feel
observe
it. And my intuition tells me I am planted firmly on.
Yeah,
Okay?
you do observe it though. That's
And
what's
I
funny.
see things move in different
When you see
directions.
the sun come up and you see the sun go down, that's
I
you
see it for
observing it.
what
That's
it
you
is.
observing the spin of the earth right there. When you see the rest of the
spin- no,
sky
I
and the
see things
stars and all the
move
pieces,
above.
and
I
they
don't
all
feel
move
no
close to the
spin.
same exact rate,
I see everything moving in its own, birds, aircraft,
right?
stars.
You might observe a thing, but not understand.
I'm not moving.
So,
I see time lapse.
Debbie, you're observing
footage
it.
moving.
You're just not
It does not
understanding it. There's two different things
Earth does
going
not
on.
move.
One thing is to
It's either
observe.
this or
The
that.
other is
It's
to
either this or
understand
that,
what
and I'll
you've
take to
observed.
that we're still in the
Holy
things
shit!
that
I can't hear a word you're saying while you're talking. While I'm talking, you know that, right?
Okay.
So
I'll slow
it's
it down.
useless. Totally. The only reason you can be talking is just to not hear me talk.
With all due respect, I like what you bring here. I do agree with you on occasions, but when it comes to this, floating or whatever you call it, falling, moving up, I don't know.
Right, because you don't understand any of this, Debbie. It's to be
I do understand it. It's a neat twisted model, okay, but I don't believe it
Debbie,
any
you
longer.
can't say that.
There is no proof of that.
Realize that? You don't understand any of the evidence.
Don't say that I don't understand. I different forces out there, okay?
Debbie.
I do. Everything
would
sticks
take
to
the
a
time to
spin
learn,
ball, and we're spinning, and I can look outside,
your
and I see the
opinion
spin.
might
I feel
have
it.
some weight, Debbie.
I do.
If you would take the time to learn and
We
be
are
able to
just
explain why they're wrong.
who knows where we're going to?
This
It's
comes
no
down to your
start point, no
incredulity
ending. I know there's no
and
ending. I mean, we're just zooming through space.
understand.
Right. I do understand it. It's a model. That's it. Based on a presupposition of spinning Earth, the sun in the center, everything's revolving around it. We're bowing to it on occasion. An imaginary pole.
You know what's crazy, Debbie? We actually have photos from outer space of the entire Earth. So you gotta shut up. You can't even say anything unless you can prove those photos are fake. You can't keep talking anymore about this shit.
The pictures that you sprung, yeah, I would say that processed pictures, manufactured. They're manufactured by data.
Yeah, you'd say
that. Question where the data comes from, if there's anything out in outer space.
Okay, cool. I'm sorry to interrupt you that time. Cool. But I did hear you.
Why are they?
I did hear you, and I want to respond.
You have
every right to interrupt me on this one, but
the Blend projects do just as well for atmospheric measuring the taking readings of the atmosphere. They have telescopes, spectrometers, gamma ray, X-ray telescope on balloons. Less costly.
What kind of dressing
and
with
they stay up there for 100 days. They expand and they retract. They stay up there for long periods and travel around the Earth. It's called a boomerang pumpkin. A boomerang pumpkin balloon.
Creamy Italian house dressing
with telescopes and got on.
So cheap.
Check that out. Go check out the balloon programs.
All right.
They're all around the world.
Okay, so
it's less costly. I don't see the reason why. What's the point would be to put a telescope up there? If you put telescopes on a gun.
Yeah. Okay. So interesting. So how about this?
Voyager family portrait.
How could you? What methods would you use, Debbie, to verify the authenticity of a photo?
Oh well, I guess it would be. Let's say who it came from. Number one. Number two. What is it that they're taking picture of? And three, where the data actually came from. And can you prove where that data came from, that object and apparatus sitting in orbital space or geosynchronous space?
Wrong.
Do you have any pictures that you can supply to me that make me
none of those answers are correct.
Yeah, none of those answers are correct, yeah.
Thank you. So let's try it one more time. I'm going to let you think about it for 5 minutes. I'm going to let you Google and think about it for 5 minutes, and then we'll talk about something else. And then while you're doing that, come on, Debbie, work with me. Please. I mean, I'll leave.
I am just show the picture first. How can I say anything if you haven't showed a picture?
Well, it doesn't even matter what picture you're looking at until you hold on a second.
We're
all you gotta do, Debbie, is Google
you have not
how to verify authenticity of a photo. Okay, and then you'll see any photo. All right.
Well, put up the picture.
Okay, first of all, Debbie, you're not listening. It doesn't matter what picture I'm going to put up. What matters is your technique to verify the authenticity of it.
If you show me a picture of a car, I don't get a rat's ass. I know cars exist. I don't question that. I don't need to.
No, excuse me, Debbie.
Put up the picture.
Most
whatever
pictures,
it may be.
videos of cars that are in commercials are completely computer generated, and there's a way you can tell that it's not a photo. Breaking it down. What method do you use to do that?
I don't worry about cars. I've already explained that if somebody's presenting something that's such as a car and want to change the color up and modify it and try to sell it as is, it's fraud.
I broke up with you a long time ago.
Yeah, I'll just use this plain photo. I'll put it in the side chat. There we go.
All right.
That's what it is. That's just something I had laying around. That's what I put up before. That's a photo.
I don't even know how we got to this.
So basically what I'm trying to point out is you personally, Debbie, have no idea how to verify the authenticity of a photo, yet you claim photos are fake.
How did you verify that the object in question took the photo or even got the data from it?
Let's focus on you. Pretend I'm a flat earther too. It doesn't matter. Just pretend for the argument we're having. I'm also a flat earther. I'm on your side, but I want to know.
How did you verify it? How do you verify it? Like, I can't get up there. I can't get out in outer space. How did you verify it?
No, we're not.
That's the thing. I have verified it, right? Because I wanted to know if it was true or not, like people were saying. Because I had my own reasons. I had my own reasons for not believing in space travel. I was under the impression that a rocket wouldn't work in a vacuum because I quickly researched the Joule-Thomson effect, or excuse me, I already knew about the Joule-Thomson effect. That's what led me to think about it. But it was the kinetic theory of gas expansion in a vacuum also. So
how do you verify it, Mr. Grimm? That's what the question is. How?
Well, I learned more about the actual things that are happening inside of a rocket engine, and the explosions that are happening in a particular.
Well, let's try and get this straight.
Push forward. No matter where anything else was around it, it creates its own explosion, which is a force that pushes forward on the rocket.
Before you start,
it has to or not go out, then the matter is. Why ask me a fucking question and not let me finish it? I hate
We're asking about how you or a person would verify something. You've just said to read. So if I want to verify something, I would just read another article.
Yes, that's right. Because I read and I find that fundamental forces that are being used, the second law of Newton's second law, and
what you've just read, Mr. Grimm.
And it's like bricks being thrown out of the back of a fucking canoe, dude. It's pretty simple, actually.
Do you read more?
That's how you verify it. I can trust I trust my knowledge like that. Yeah, I am very good at
that. That's what for Debbie. So he's using his senses to verify these pictures.
Absolutely, that's all anyone can ever do, knucklehead.
No,
it's not.
Christ,
like that's such a fucking anomaly,
Mr. Grimm. You would go there yourself. You would verify.
Oh my God! You use your eyes to make a measurement. To use a ruler to, but I used my eyes to measure it along the ruler, didn't I? So I can't trust anything. Get out of here.
Understand what verify means. You don't
over
read
philosophical.
On. I need to verify this. I should read on.
That's right.
In the side chat to verify.
Verify a photograph. You're saying we should read.
No, you just asked me. I was talking about fucking rocket science.
Talking about a photo. Debbie asked the question. How have you verified those photographs?
No, you changed the subject in the middle of the conversation, and you started talking about the first one again while I was talking about the second one. You knuckle.
I don't even know which photograph.
What is wrong with you?
Presented a photograph.
Is everybody else on here?
Where the data came?
Right. He said he reads to verify something, and again, that's part of the problem.
Yeah, like the how rockets work in space, dude. That's where we moved off to, and then you flipped it back around very uncleverly, by the way.
Mad Mike was trying to verify. What was Mad Mike trying to do? He was trying to verify.
How it caught you so easily. You're like a dimwit, aren't you? Like, I stay stoned and I fucking tower over you in here.
Okay. I'm just trying to find out the truth.
Talking about verification of a photograph was taken.
Yeah, we were talking about verification of a photograph. And then I said, because I too thought that, those photos could be fake. and I had to learn how to verify the photos for myself.
We don't know what the photo
but then I
is.
started talking about.
Speaking of,
I learned that rockets worked in space, and then you, in the middle of that, asked me, you know, so we were talking about how rockets worked in space, because in the middle of that is when you asked me that question. And so I was talking about the kinetic theory of gas expansion in a vacuum and blah, 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 remember? And so you said, oh, well, you learned some stuff because you read more? And I'm like, yeah, I learned some stuff about rocket science because I read more.
From reading.
That's absolutely correct, because I didn't build a
I'm
rocket.
talking about
I'm not impressed by the fancy words that spew out of your mouth, okay? If you're going to show a picture, show
Obviously,
a picture.
because
If
they
not,
don't
then forget
register
it.
as real words to you. They just
You have never followed a rocket going around the Earth 2-3 times and then going into outer space. You're getting your sources from people that I don't trust.
How could
I'll never trust.
What's fast as a rocket?
No, we're going to have to teach you, Mr. Grimm, how to verify things.
Teach me. Go ahead. Teach me. But what's as fast as a rocket? So I can do that.
Uncut footage.
I can't. You can't think of anything. So it would take a rocket to prove a rocket.
Footage.
They can't do uncut footage.
Yeah.
They're not going to do footage to verify something that someone has a conspiracy theory about. They're just going to do it how they can.
And how do you get uncut footage of a rocket circling the globe?
You have another
passing through huge electrical field.
No, you have a cameraman on another rocket filming it as it's going.
No, or we can just agree that the photographs are CGI, they are fake. There is no way of verifying these images to be real.
There very much so is a way to verify if something is completely CGI or if it's
Well,
photo-based.
Debbie's asked you, how did you verify this?
I asked Debbie how, because she says they're fake. And I need to know how, if I'm a flat earther with Debbie, remember the conversation, you knucklehead? I said I'm a flat earther with Debbie, and I want to know how she's authenticating photos.
The same way when you
have a method.
Spider-Man climbing the building.
She doesn't know anything about it and doesn't have a method.
Right.
So she's only saying they're fake out of ignorance because she doesn't
It's
even
depending
know.
on what it was. If you're taking
it
a
doesn't
capture
depend
of
on what
the
it is.
sun,
Absolutely.
I mean, I know the sun is not. I can't say the sun is fake because I see it every day. Now, if you're showing me an animation, it's some orange ball sun. That's an animation. That's not real.
No, I said a
they're
photo.
making those same things.
The photos that our
software.
space agencies claim to be real photos of Earth. How are you determining that those are fake? Since that is specific.
You have not given me a even that I can go on, so I can dissect it and tell you why I have a problem with it in the first place.
It's been in the side chat for the last 5 minutes. A few of them now.
Yeah. Where's the picture, Mr. Grimm? Show us what you're talking about specifically.
Well, they're in the debate chat box. We've been just putting photos in.
Man, I'm getting tired of it.
Can't verify Himawari 8. We can't verify the ISS.
Those photos
we can't verify those. Any of those things, Mr. Grimm. That's all we're asking.
We're not talking about those ones. We're talking about any photo.
And Chemo, it's not you asking it. It's me asking. I'm the one asking that question to her. That's me. I brought this up. Chemo. I know the answer. I want her to tell me is because I know she doesn't know it. Okay. But I wanted to verify asking her and allowing her to prove that she doesn't know it. Okay, and therefore she's arguing out of ignorance or whatever because she doesn't.
You say any photo.
Yeah,
arguing out of ignorance.
Yeah, she's claiming that these photos are fake and that she's verified them. So which one is it?
It just depends
does she know
on
how to
what you
verify
think
them,
there
or
are
does she not know?
forensics. You would think there's no photo forensics out there for you to look at. There's another one where you put a photograph and you see that it's been modified, like from the original photograph.
Right, but they're not the originals.
You take a picture.
Those are liars who
they're
claim
not
that they're
originals. They've been modified
they have
after the
shrunk
fact.
Those images. No,
They've
they're not the
taken a
raw
picture of
files.
something, whatever
You're a
that may
liar.
be, but
I already
then
saw
it's
that.
modified.
It's been debunked. It's been
It's
debunked.
modified.
That's a lie. Absolute lie.
It is. No, it's not. My son even told me he's a liar. He showed me how to do it.
The raw images that have not been modified do exist and are on the ESA and NASA's photo lists in the media.
NASA photos. Why don't we just talk
I
about
don't know which one you're referring to because there's thousands of them. I'm not sure which one you're referring to.
Right, they're images. They haven't been changed.
We already know
of
things
Earth.
can be modified. They can be
Talking about images.
photoshopped.
Yeah, we know they can be. We also know that there's a certain signature that's shown when that happens. Right? We know that there's a difference in the way the computer files those things. Right. Once you put them on the on the computer, that's what you would need in order to determine whether or not
generates a photograph
fake or not.
Modification. Okay.
No, you don't even know what you're talking about.
I
People,
do know.
you don't know how to write. You don't know what's in code or anything. You don't know.
Wow, you don't think I could take a real photograph and modify it and present
it as
mystery,
is so it's very
modified?
unknown to you, so you don't understand that you can actually code to do this, so that you know nobody's lying to you. There's now. How do you like that?
I'm not sure. There's like thousands of photographs. I mean, take your pick. I don't know what
not much more I can say.
A good one,
Okay, so
photographs in the side chat, and
I haven't seen
which one
any.
are you putting it in? The debate chat box?
Yeah, they're all in the debate chat. I'm not putting them in, but other people have been just putting different photos in of anything. It doesn't matter what it is.
Downstairs, put one in there. That's a cartoon.
And there's a truck. There's a truck with a guy doing a drilling thing. I put in one of a picture of. Then someone
truck with a guy with a rocket.
And how did you determine that was a cartoon?
How far back's the cartoon?
Artist rendition, or whatever you want to call it. Closet.
How did you determine that it was a cartoon? I'm not sure which one because you said this one, but
well, more you have real life, you have a cartoon. If you can't tell the difference between animation and real life, there is something seriously wrong